Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the After the Frame podcast. My name is Malik, and I am joined, as always, by.
Hi, I'm Matt.
This episode, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be discussing some trailers that came out recently, our thoughts on that, and then at the end, I have an activity that Matt and I are going to do. So let's kick it off with the Avengers Doomsday trailer. What were your thoughts on it? A bunch of things came out from Comic-Con. We can also get into the things that Kevin Feige announced for Black Panther 3 and Ghost Rider as well, but we'll start off with the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, I was excited and impressed with the direction that they went. Because a lot of the community had kind of predicted like what they were gonna do and what was gonna happen. I'm excited for it, but I'm not as excited for it as I am for like other Marvel properties. Like, I was more excited for Infinity War and Endgame when those came out. I'm honestly more excited for Spider-Man, which comes out this week, than I am Doomsday. Um, but I thought they did a good job with the trailer.
Yeah, it was my own fault for reading the leak from CinemaCon earlier, and so the trailer wasn't that impressive to me because it was basically the leak from Twitter. Like everything was already kind of said, like Shang-Chi fighting Gambit and everything. It was all kind of like written out. It was cool to actually see it in trailer form. But yeah, I'm the same way. I don't feel the same hype that I did for Infinity War because these characters just. I know Marvel obviously had to pivot with the whole Kang situation, but even still, if they went ahead, I think it was last year, Kang Dynasty was supposed to come out. I still don't think that it would have really worked just because of the characters like Shang-Chi, for instance, I just mentioned, haven't seen him since, 2021, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So these characters aren't really popping up in the universe like how in the Infinity Saga we had spent more time with them. So when it came down to this Infinity War and people were in danger of dying, you felt like, oh, these characters you've known for 10 years, I'm not going to feel that way in Doomsday other than the OG people that have been around from the beginning. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I'm sure that movie's gonna make a lot of money. I'm just interested to see if they can actually pull off all of the things they have to introduce, Doom being introduced, and all the different universes that are coming in for those who maybe didn't watch the Fox X-Men, for instance, or So we'll see what they can do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ceiling is potentially higher than that of Infinity War and Endgame, but I think the floor is also much lower than both of those as well. Like it all depends on execution.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. What were your thoughts on the casting announcements for um, Black Panther and for Ghost Rider?
Ghost Rider, I am not surprised at all by. Like I had been not only reading the rumor mill, but I think Ryan Gosling as um, Ghost Rider is fantastic casting. Like I mean, with the personality that Johnny Blaze kind of has, like you can mold Ryan Gosling into that charismatic biker. Um, I'm excited for the casting. I'm not sure how I feel about Sean Levy directing. Like I thought he did a good job with Deadpool and Wolverine, and like Sean Levy's done some good stuff. My fear is, I think the tone for Ghost Rider needs to be handled right, especially like since they're going the movie route. Like we haven't seen Ghost Rider in a film since the Nicolas Cage days, and like those films were, they had some serious moments, they had a lot of goofy moments, like it was just somewhere in the middle. I think I would like to see a more serious adaptation, but I don't know if we'll get that with this one, so that remains to be seen. But the casting, Brian Gosling, I'm excited for. um and then David Johnson as T'Challa's son actually caught me off guard. Like I think that's a really, really good casting. I know a lot of the community and Twitter and the social media superhero scene as a whole was really clamoring for Damson Idris from F1 and Snowfall and all of his projects. Uh, I get why they wanted him. I honestly thought that was the direction that they were going to go in. Um, but I think David Johnson is an upgrade because I mean, if anybody's seen, Alien Romulus and The Long Walk, like he was really really good in those. So I'm excited. I'm curious to see how they handle the direction of that character. Um, and just kind of seeing, I think they went about a recasting in about as
Mhm.
well of a job that they could have. Um, but yeah, excited for the future in 2028.
Yeah, I'm happy that Kevin Feige came out and said that after Doomsday this year, they're not doing anything until Secret Wars. They're just literally putting all their time and effort into that. So I feel like I'm not so excited about this one coming up this year, but I feel like maybe Secret Wars will have a little bit more time dedicated to it, so it'll be a little bit better. Obviously it's still too early to tell. Um, and then, yeah, as I understand, after Secret Wars, we're kind of going to streamline a lot of things. I guess we're just going to kind of maybe go away from the Avengers and it's going to be more X-Men. And then you got Ghost Rider coming in. The Fantastic Four will be in this main universe instead of theirs that was introduced in their movie. So we'll kind of have different things and then maybe they can go ahead and actually revisit Kang and just recast him or whatever they end up doing. So yeah, it'll be interesting in 2028, which is of course, when we'll be getting the Batman part 2 now. It's been pushed back. So, 2028 is looking pretty decent so far. And I don't know what DC projects will come out other than that, like what James Gunn has cooking, but we'll see. Um, Speaking of DC and James Gunn, let's talk the trailers that they dropped this week as well. So they dropped the final trailer for the Lantern show that's going to be coming out in less than a month. And then they dropped the second trailer for Clayface that's coming out in October. What were your thoughts on those?
Uh, Lanterns. they finally bought me in.
Mhm.
It took long enough to see some freaking green on the screen, but I'm curious to see where that one will go because I remember when it first got announced, like reading a lot of influence from like True Detective and like the gritty, detective partner shows, but with a little bit of sci-fi. Like, the concept was genuinely interesting. And I'm curious to see how they're going to tell this story because, it's not only Hal and John Stewart, but it's also, you've got Sinestro in it. He's in prison. We'll see if that lasts. Um, but the show is called Lanterns, so I'm sure we'll see, not just the Green Lanterns and the Sinestro Corps. Like, I think we'll see some lanterns of the other variety, and then the adaptation of the Manhunters in live action is pretty interesting because uh, in the comics, I always thought they were kind of generic. Like it was just robots built with this vendetta against the Green Lantern Corps, and it was just like, eh. Um, but the twist that they're taking on it, it's kind of like Manhunters from the comics, but they can blend in and switch their appearance to get do what they want and take over the world if they want. So I'm curious to see how that's going to go. And then Clayface, I'm excited for. It does intrigue me a little bit with how far they're going to push the needle when it comes to horror, and it looks like they're going to take it pretty far. I mean the effects of how they have this clay like texture of his skin, and you see this evolution over time. Like it's a little unsettling. I already know like the scene they show in the trailer when like he rubs his eyes and then he has
Mhm.
to go to the bathroom on the plane. Like I had to like turn away a little bit when I first saw that scene of him in the bathroom like with the scissors. I'm like, oh no. And then I can just imagine in the theater I'm gonna be like, I'm good. But no, I'm excited.
Yeah, I like that both of those projects are prequels basically to like the current DCU that we got going on, which I'm curious to see how like James Gunn, because obviously the way he's running things, he's talking about, I mean, we can take it with a grain of salt what would happen with Supergirl, but he's supposedly getting these scripts and they're, if they're good enough to him, he greenlights them, and I guess he just kind of finds a way to like put it within the fabric of the universe he's building. But it seems to me like kind of these two projects are just something that it's like it was just made so it could be kind of like almost taken out of the universe. I'm not expecting it to be too much of a in-universe type thing. It's not going to have like cameos or anything, which I'm completely fine with. But I think both of them are like 10 years in the past, and I think Lanterns kind of slowly, like as the show progresses, we get closer to modern time. But the Clayface thing is just completely like a way back when.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. The Clayface stuff that I saw was really, really good. Like, I'm glad that we got to see a little bit more, get a little bit more sense of the plot. Um, I'm hoping that when he actually turns into the giant Clayface thing, it doesn't look cartoonish, that they actually do maybe some practical effects with that. I mean, obviously they didn't show it in the trailer, but it'll be revealed in the movie. I'm also curious to see how they handle this tone that it seems to have in this movie. And this is the same Clayface that we saw in Creature Commandos that seems to have a completely different like tone. So I'll see how they handle that. Lanterns is arguably now like my most anticipated thing for the year. Like I really enjoyed the trailer. Um, I was never as down on the other trailers as some people on Twitter were, but I'm still not sold on the suit that like Hal has when he's talking to Sinestro. I'm hoping that when John gets his suit, it'll be a little bit different. But yeah, Sinestro looks great. Um, I was theorizing because the Manhunters are supposed to just be robots, but then they're doing this whole shape shifting thing. I was theorizing that it has something to do with maybe Martian Manhunter, which would be cool, but like I don't know if that's going to happen. Um, but I mean, even just with, as you mentioned, since it's going to be just Lanterns as a whole, the the Manhunters can like bring in, I don't know, like Atrocitus and the Red Lanterns. Um, we obviously already saw Sinestro, and we can see people from his core kind of also being there. Um, then Guy Gardner's in it. We can maybe show like the Lanterns of Hope. Like we'll see. I mean, the Guardians are also going to be in it, so it's kind of building like this whole thing, and it has 8 episodes to build on. It's not like rushed like a movie. So yeah,
Yeah.
that easily for me is my most anticipated thing now, and then Clayface right afterwards. So yeah, I agree with you. Last thing I was gonna bring up for before we get to this activity is yeah, you brought up that Spider-Man. We're gonna be watching it this week. What are your thoughts going into it? And do you have any early predictions um for I mean, not just who Sadie Sink is going to play, because I think most people already kind of know, but like, do you have any other predictions on who might pop up? What do you think if he's going to end up being in Doomsday, or what do you think?
Hey, I mean, Tom Holland said on the internet, it's not who you think it is. Don't trust me. Don't listen to me. It's
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll see. I'd
We'll
love it to
see.
not be her. It'd be great if like everybody thinks it's Jean Grey and it's somebody completely different. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, because so like I think part of why I could see it being possible that it's not Jean Grey is because they didn't announce any X-Men stuff at Comic-Con.
Mm.
Part of the way of thinking with that is like she could be Jean Grey, but they didn't announce anything at Comic-Con because then she would have had to be there by technicality. So they could be saving that stuff until New York Comic Con or the Disney conference or whatever, anything like that. Um, but I'm excited for Brand New Day. Like, I think it's going to be a little tonally different from the past, trilogy because we're going to get this Peter Parker who has really just had nothing to do besides be Spider-Man. Like he's kind of on his own. Um, the Punisher's in it. I'm still trying to figure out his role in the story.
I doubt he'll be in it much.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be in it much. I am excited to see what they handle with Bruce Banner and the Hulk because like we actually have the Hulk back, not Professor
Mm.
Hulk or anything like that. I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with him. Um, the the villain, as far as we know right now, like we know Scorpion's in it. I
Hmm.
honestly don't think he's going to have a big role. I think they have an ace up their sleeve that they're not telling because, uh, like you see in all the marketing and stuff, like the posters and everything, Spider-Man's fighting the Hand,
Yeah.
which is traditionally a Daredevil villain. And I don't think Daredevil's going to be in the movie. So
Oh
I'm
yeah,
trying
he's
to
in
figure
jail.
out. He's so part of my theory. Like they haven't said that obviously Daredevil's in the movie, but there's a scene where Spider-Man is in this prison fighting the Hand.
Okay.
I think it's a layup to have Daredevil in there. At least even if it's a cameo, like if he's stuck behind bars screaming and yelling as he does through that entire show. Uh, uh, I think it makes sense to at least show him whether he's in the movie, with a substantial role or not. But I kind of think there's a villain in it that they haven't shown. Like, in the trailer, they showed this montage of Spider-Man fighting this, as Miles called it, villain of the week as he's going through his tenure as Spider-Man, with nothing else to do. I don't think Scorpion's the main guy. I don't think the Hand
Do you
is
not
the
think
main.
Sadie Sink is going to be the main villain, or you think they have somebody else?
I think they have somebody else that they're not showing.
Mm.
I don't.
And
I
who do you
want
think it might be? Like, if you had to take a wild guess.
absolute wild guess. I would like to see Mister Negative.
Okay.
That I think that could be an ace up their sleeve that they hide. Because if they showed Martin Lee, the Asian, Mr. Negative, that'd be a dead giveaway. It's like, oh yeah, Mr. Negative's like the villain.
Right.
I think that's part of the reason they haven't done it. Um, but again, that might be wishful thinking. Uh, I don't think Sadie Sink's character is the villain because
Interesting.
if it is Jean Grey, it would be weird having an X-Men character who hasn't even really been properly introduced as a Spider-Man villain in her first rodeo.
Yeah, and
M-
why is she a villain anyway? Like, if she's an X-Men, like, why would she not be?
The only approach that she could be a villain is if they touch anything related to the Phoenix Force. But they're not doing that in a Spider-Man movie. Like I don't think unless they treat Jean Grey as like this misunderstood teenager first discovering her powers. I don't know if she's Jean Grey or not, but I definitely don't think she's the villain. Um,
Okay.
Especially since we see scenes of her character with like the Punisher. I don't know what those two were doing in the same room. Which again, I kind of feel like Marvel might be using all this as like a misdirect. So like, who knows who she's
That'd be good.
playing? That would be good. But yeah, I'm excited to see kind of the approach that they take with it because I think having a different directorial approach with Destin Daniel Cretton, who did Shang-Chi, take this rather than the coming of age style in the Home trilogy. Um, I'm excited for this one. I've read a couple things about like what it could possibly set up. Um, I know the main argument going around is that he may get the symbiote, and like I
Yeah,
don't.
I mean, it was set up in the previous film, so
It was
I
set
expect
up.
it to be in it.
I I don't know if he's gonna get it or not. Because and like we'll get into this with Doomsday. Like I don't think Spider-Man's gonna be in Doomsday, but
Neither do I.
he's probably most certainly gonna be in Secret Wars.
Hmm.
The question is if everybody alludes to the famous Secret Wars comic cover where he first gets the black suit. Not even the symbiote suit, it's just a black suit. Um but everybody's thinking like, it would be cool if he has it. And like I agree, it would be cool. I don't see a plot point yet. Like unless at the very end of the movie, um he comes across this symbiote and he ends the movie with the symbiote, and then it leads into, so like maybe the next Spider-Man movie. Now I'm just speculating. Next
Mhm.
Spider-Man movie, they tackle, the Venom storyline, or like even they pull some strings from the Spider-Man 2 game, and like they have Craven and Venom, and the comic book cover of Spider-Man coming out of the grave in the black suit. Like there's a levy of directions that they could go, but I think Marvel's done a good job keeping their cards close to the vest, like giving away a couple things about like what to expect and what to see, but I think it's an open toy box at this point.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the fact that if they do this whole Sadie Sink misdirect, I've been like thinking about it because to me, there's a couple things in this movie. I mean, I was a fan of No Way Home, I was a fan of just seeing Tobey Maguire back as Spider Man, I guess. But the film itself, like the reasoning behind how they got everybody there, I did not love. That's like one of my big negatives for that film, and I'm kind of hoping in this movie they don't do like because people are saying like, oh, MJ is gonna end up remembering him, and I'm like, I really don't want them to go
Leave it
back on,
alone. Like,
yeah, because it seems like there's gonna be scenes where like MJ obviously has like this new man, but like there's scenes of like Peter Parker like coming in and swinging in and saving her, so it's like it seems like she might like jog her memory or whatever. I don't want them to keep on going back on the stakes that they keep setting, and they've done this before in the MCU, and I'm really hoping that not saying that MJ and Ned need to be like dead or anything, but just let them live their life, like they're off doing their thing and he's doing his superhero thing. And now it seems like he has more like I mean, everybody's in New York. You got the Punisher, Daredevil. So he can like start gaining his friends in a more superhero realm type thing.
yeah,
But yeah, I hope that they don't come back and do that.
my light kept flickering and it was bugging me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw it flickering in the background.
I'm like,
Um,
that's annoying, so I just turned it off and opened the window.
Oh, okay. Um, so yeah, I mean, the Hulk being in it, I'm hoping that this movie isn't going to be too overstuffed. I am liking the fact that he's on his own and he's not like Iron Man Jr., but I'm hoping that now they're not going to keep on. Spider-Man makes money as it is. Like, it's on track to make almost $1 billion already on its first weekend, like 800, 700 million. So I don't think he necessarily needs all these people in his movie. It's cool to see him interact with them. I'm hoping that they don't start trying to take the spotlight away and it's just kind of more centered around him going through life with people not knowing him and trying to find his way. Um, for me, I'm hoping this movie has a good reason as to why he won't be in Doomsday because I'm like you, I don't think he will be, but I think he will be in Secret Wars, obviously. So hopefully, like something happens in this movie. Maybe it has to do with the symbiote, maybe this secret character that you're alluding to, or even if it is Jean Grey, whatever. They do something by the end of this movie that takes him out of the picture for Doomsday, and then he just has to come back in. Like, say he gets taken to another universe with maybe Jean Grey takes him to universe blah 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 with the X-Men. Who knows? So yeah, I think it's going to be a good movie. A lot of people are very nervous, and I've been telling them, I'm like, I don't see how this movie can be that like be a bad movie. Like it looks like it has all the ingredients to be very good, like even better than No Way Home. Like I feel like structurally, it seems like it could be. Um, so yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that this week, and I mean, we will end up reviewing that probably next week because I'm out of town this weekend. So yeah, we'll have our thoughts on that later on. Anything else you wanted to touch on with Spider-Man?
No, I mean, I've had a fun time like reading the fan theories and stuff. Like, it's going to be interesting to see what comes true, what doesn't come true come, later this week. Cuz what's like a couple of the interesting ones I've read, people are theorizing that MJ's new boyfriend, quote unquote,
Hmm.
is actually like Boomerang, or like one of the villains that you see Spider-Man fighting in like this montage.
Um,
So like that could be a larger role. And then one other fan theory that you touched on, like kind of leaving the MJ and Ned stuff alone. The one avenue that I would actually not be mad at them like going down that lane again. I read something online, and it was a theory. It was like, Spider-Man Peter like reveals his identity to MJ, and like MJ like remembers everything, and like all this and all that. I don't know how exactly it works, but he did that with MJ. He did not do that for Ned.
Mm,
And Ned like finds out and then like holds this grudge against Spider-Man for like, not coming back to him and like, you know, reopening that door, rekindling that friendship. And then he becomes the Hobgoblin.
yeah.
Which like in the comics, like Ned Leeds is the Hobgoblin. Do I think they go that route? No, but it'd be cool to see.
I would be I think they would, but like the casting, like Jacob Batalon, can you imagine him as the Hobgoblin? I can't imagine him the
Hey,
Hob as a,
he's the CEO of sex. Come on, man.
so he's got his hands full. He doesn't have time to be the Hobgoblin. I can't see that. I understand where
I
you're
can't
coming from
either.
because yeah,
Yeah.
I know Ned is supposed to become the Hobgoblin, and I mean this Peter Parker doesn't have a Green Goblin, so to speak, or have that arch nemesis that's like the Joker to his Batman. So yeah, that would be interesting, but I just don't see the casting they did
Yeah,
for
I don't
Ned
see
would
it.
be a weird. I couldn't imagine him being a Hobgoblin. It would be very strange, but you never know. We'll see what they can do with all this multiverse stuff. All right, let's move on to our activity here. So, I told Matt about this last week, but I didn't tell him anything about it. I just said, like, we're just going to kind of go into it just, straight off the top of the head. So, the activity I have for us is Doomsday related. And this movie comes out months away. So, it's very far in the future. We've only seen one trailer. I'm sure that there'll be another one. But this activity is us going through all of the announced characters in Doomsday, and we're going to go one by one and predict what is going to happen in Doomsday with that character. If they're going to survive, how big of a role they're going to play in the plot, like, if they're going to play a bigger role in Secret Wars, if they're going to be kind of like a glorified cameo, whatever. So that's what we're going to do, okay? So I'm going to go in this list kind of has like the heavy hitters on top and then like it kind of goes like with less importance. So I'm going to start from the bottom and we'll go up. So
Okay.
the first character I have is Namor. So what do you predict Namor will have to do in Doomsday, or if he's going to really even be that involved?
Uh, I don't think he's gonna be that involved. I think he's gonna be a little bit more of a supplementary side character to M'Baku and Shuri, and like from the Black Panther side of things. I think they're gonna touch on what's the name of his like race, Talokan. Like
The
they're gonna touch,
Talocans.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna touch on like that realm, and I think they're gonna meet the Fantastic Four, and like I think they'll probably parallel a little bit from the comics. I think Sue Storm will get into it with Namor. Maybe not to the degree that the comics went, but
Mhm.
like I think that'll be an initial interaction. But like I don't think he's gonna have a ton to do. If he fights Doom single handedly, like he's gonna get mopped. So
Okay. I've seen some theories saying that like there's certain characters that basically the theory is that Doom is gonna, like, if you hear in the voiceover, he's obviously talking to somebody. It might be in that scene that we see in the trailer with Thor, or maybe he's talking to Reed Richards, whatever. And he's saying that like by the end of the day, we're gonna have to make like this choice. Like, we can't deter this anymore. So it doesn't seem like Doom is necessarily coming into it based off of what we've seen, like coming in just straight villainy. It's kind of like he has this knowledge that incursions are happening or whatever, and he's kind of like, we got to sort out what we're going to do. And he's the type of person that, like, I guess I'll do what I have to do in order to, save the most people or whatever.
yeah,
So people were theorizing that some of the heroes or some of the characters might switch sides to Doom, and Namor would be one of those characters, would be kind of hear Doom out and say, I kind of see what he's saying, because he's kind of more of an anti-hero from the second Black Panther film. So that would be interesting if Doom's kind of turned into a de facto civil war, a multiverse civil war type thing, where some people are on Doom's side, some people are on the Avengers. That'd be interesting. For me, I don't think that I think that scene that we see of him in the trailer, I honestly think that's it. I think like he's gonna be there when they introduce um Black Panther, like Shuri's going to be in it more. I don't even think M'Baku's going to be anymore. I think they're just going to visit Wakanda. He's going to split the sea. They're going to come down the Fantastic Four, the whole thing that we saw. And I think that like maybe there'll be an action set piece in that area and he'll be there, but I don't see him going with them to other universes or going with them. So I think he'll just be doing that. And I think he survives. So do you think he's not gonna die, right? You
Yeah,
think
he's
yeah,
not gonna die.
cool. All right. The next person we have is Mystique, who we saw turn into Yelena in the trailers, and it looks like the Avengers go to the X Mansion. So what do you think Mystique's role will be in this movie?
Yeah, I mean, I think she's largely going to be an instigator, because we see her, transform into Yelena, and I think that either could be intentional or it's just you come face to face with Yelena and it triggers this larger battle. Um, I think it's probably just going to be like supplementary background with the main X-Men characters. Like we'll see the X Mansion. They'll have this fight as their universe is collapsing. But I don't think a ton is gonna be in Mystique's bucket.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think that we're gonna see when the Avengers eventually, I guess, go to that universe, I think only certain X-Men are going to kind of join in the big fight at the end, whatever it is. And I'll get to who I think those characters are. They're probably up further on this list. I think that she's kind of a more just an X-Mansion, like you just see her there, because I think Beast will also, like those types of X-Men will just kind of stay there. So she's kind of similar to me, like Namor, like she's going to be there, but like kind of more set dressing, like she's just kind of be there. So, and I also don't think she's dying. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think
I
they're going to
don't
do
think
any of
they're
that.
killing her off.
All right. Next character is Ghost, who we last saw in the Thunderbolts, and she's now officially an Avenger. What do you think that she will be doing in this movie?
Was she even in the trailer? I don't think much of anything. Like,
She was in the trailer in that one shot when Thor's telling everybody, like when they pull up into the new Avengers. Um,
oh yeah, where
yeah,
everybody is.
everybody is. That's the only time she's in the trailer. So
She's not doing anything.
yeah, I don't think so either. In fact, I think she'll be dead in this movie. I don't think she
Oh,
survives.
I I mm, I don't
I
know.
think it'll be a
She
death
could.
that Scott Lang will be like, heartbroken over because of his interaction with her in the second Ant-Man film. I see it being like some people have to get killed off. I think this movie is going to be a couple people are going to die.
I think a couple people are gonna die, but I think I could see it being larger stakes than that. Like, I mean, she could get killed off, and they take 10 seconds, 20 seconds to like take it in. But I think there's major deaths that are more likely than that. I think.
Yeah. All right, we'll get to him. Next up, another person I don't think will have much to do, and we didn't see in this trailer, Nightcrawler. Coming back. Alan Cumming is going to be coming back to play
Yeah,
him. So the older one.
I don't think he's gonna have much to do. I'm trying to figure out why they haven't shown him. Maybe he has some secret role that
Well,
they don't want to give away. But
he didn't act on a set with anyone. His entire time of shooting scenes was in front of a green screen, and
huh,
he was just kind of directed. And so I'm assuming that he's just get kind of superimposed into something or in a battle or whatever. So, but he was never on set with anybody, according to reports that he said that
interesting.
he didn't
Okay.
know who he was with. So,
Hmm.
so yeah, I don't think he's gonna another like Mystique. It's just like when you get to the X Mansion, he might be there, and
He might pop
you
in.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, start like join that fight that Yelena and Mystique are having or something. We already kind of touched on M'Baku. Do you think anything of him? Do you think he's going to be leaving Wakanda to join in with whatever they got going on?
I mean, probably. I think. I don't think that trio of the Wakandan, you know, group is gonna have much to do.
Hmm.
Um, and like they already kind of said he's not dying. Because
Yeah,
they announced Black Panther 3 and he was up there. So I think if they want to do like prequel stuff, like I think he's a possible casualty, but again now kind of unlikely since they said Black Panther's 3 coming, but yeah, I don't think a ton to do with him.
Yeah, he'll have to go because I'm assuming with them recasting for T'Challa's son, he like M'Baku's the current king of Wakanda. So I don't know if it's like in the third movie. Obviously, Wakanda doesn't know about the son; only Shuri does. So they'll probably like have some sort of similar thing where it's like you have to challenge for, but he'll get dethroned in some. I'm sure in the third one. But yeah, I don't think he's gonna have a huge role to play.
I think he's more
Um,
likely to get killed off in the third one than he is in this, or even
yeah,
Secret Wars. I
I'm
think
very interested to see who the villain of that movie will be. If it's Namor again or what they'll do.
rumor has
Um,
it it's Denzel Washington. I don't know who is who, but Denzel Washington's apparently in the movie, and they haven't said
I'm not
anything.
a huge like fan of Black Panther, so I don't know. I know Killmonger, Claw, both of them killed off, and I don't know who else. So unless they, start introducing the X Men, I know Storm has a thing with Black Panther, so I don't know. With all this multiverse stuff, they can pick and choose people after Secret Wars. So maybe let's see. Um, all right, next character is the new Falcon, Joaquin Torres.
I don't think he's gonna have much to do. I think he'll be a background character for most of the movie.
Okay. Yeah, I also same thing. I don't see him. I don't think they're gonna kill him off. If they do, I don't think it's gonna make the audience like too shocked. So yeah,
Jessica
this.
Alba will be crying.
Yeah, I think that this cast is so huge. That yeah, unfortunately, some characters are not going to be able to balance the screen time. So he's just gonna kind of have to fall by the wayside. Next character is Beast. I'm gonna say that Beast is kind of the same thing like Mystique and Nightcrawler. He'll just be there in the X Mansion probably just to pop some of the people from the fans of the Fox um, movies because it's Kelsey Grammer coming back. So yeah, I
Yeah,
don't see him joining anything. All right, this is the first person I'd say I think might have a sneaky role in the movie. It's Bob slash Sentry. Just
hmm.
based on his power set, I think that we haven't seen much of him in the trailers, obviously, but I think he should have like a big part to play, like just how powerful he is. So, what do you think?
I think it could be a thing very similar to Infinity War, where we open with like Thor, Loki, the Asgardians, Hulk, all that. Probably not, as early on in the movie, but like once we see Doom's kind of true colors, Sentry's gonna come out and try and do his thing, immediately taken off the board. Like I don't think he's dead, but I think it's more likely that he's like imprisoned or depowered or something. Like Doom has some magic to just like nullify him or something, and then he gets sent straight to jail. Um, but I'm curious to see how they could handle it. So yeah, like I think it'll be like this kind of like Hulk thing, like where we see him stand up against Doom, land a couple
Hmm.
blows, and then Doom starts putting BTA, and then Sentry just is like, well, can't do anything else.
Hmm. Yeah, it could be. Or it could be a situation like how you mentioned, like what they did with Vision in Infinity War. Like basically, they just took him out of the game. He was just kind of stabbed by Corvus Glaive, and then that was it. The whole film, he was like
Yeah,
basically useless. He couldn't do anything. So they might do something like that. Next person is Shuri slash Black Panther. I think she'll be around for majority of the movie, like representing Wakanda. I obviously don't think she'll be dying because she'll be in Black Panther 3. Um, and she'll be in Secret Wars, I'm assuming as well. So I don't think she's gonna have like anything, you know, too big to do, but bigger
yeah,
than the ones that we've mentioned.
yeah.
You're
I
in the
agree
same
with that.
boat.
Yeah,
Okay. Next person, Red Guardian. I also think he's dead. I think he'll be dying. In fact, I'm just gonna let everybody know now. I think that everybody from the Thunderbolts is gonna die. Or if I was writing it, I think they would be dead. The only person I'd say that stays is Yelena. What
yeah.
about you?
I I agree with that take. However, since you are not the writer, I think Red Guardian's probably the only one that is gonna die. I think it's going to be like a blaze of glory type ending for him. Like he's going to sacrifice himself protecting Yelena, and he's going to finally earn this heroic legacy that he constantly claims throughout Black Widow and Thunderbolts and everything. But yeah, I think he's dead.
Yeah. Next up, Bucky Barnes. I also think he's not making it just because he's now going to be in the new Batman movie. I don't see Sebastian Stan sticking around too much longer, so I think they kill off Winter Soldier as well.
See, I think he lives, but I don't know how much he is going to have to do. Like, I think he lives, but it could be a situation where, like, he's in Doomsday, he does a little bit in Secret Wars, and, like, that's it. And then he decides, like, maybe something with Steve, like, after this Doomsday and Secret Wars fight, like, Steve goes back to retirement or something. And then Bucky's like, hey, like, I'm out too. I've been doing this for 100 years. It's like
Hmm.
I'm done. But I think killing him off is a long shot.
Okay. All right. The next couple are kind of grouped together. So the first couple is Professor X and Magneto.
Yeah, those two are dead.
Yep.
I think Professor X is easily the most likely to go. Like he's probably either gonna die, like psychically connecting the three factions between the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four, like psychically connecting everybody. Or like we see we know the Sentinels are in the movie, and he
Hmm.
might die protecting them. Um, so if there is one death that I think is an absolute lock, it's Professor X. Um, Magneto, I'm intrigued by because I think like he's gonna be on the side of the X-Men up until the
Hmm.
last minute. Like then I think he's gonna temporarily align with Doom because Doom is going to make this strong pitch, and it's like, you can guarantee your mutant survival by sacrificing another Earth instead of yours, and it's just, uh, we'll shuffle things around. So I think Magneto will probably align with him, um, but then later on in the movie he'll turn against Doom, and then I think when we see the Sentinels actually unleashed, like he'll probably bite the bullet.
Yeah, I just think that just because of obviously them bringing back Patrick Stewart and Sir Ian McKellen, and they seem like going forward in the MCU they're gonna recast the a whole X Men, and I just don't see. I think of all of the universes that are gonna be destroyed, I'm assuming that the Fantastic Four universe gets destroyed, which is why they came to this universe. And then I also think the X Men universe is going to get destroyed. So I think that they're both probably going to, not make it out. Next, we have Cyclops. I actually think Cyclops will play not a huge role, like not as big as like some of the heavy hitters, but I anticipate he'll be in it like a decent amount.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I think of all the X-Men characters we're gonna get, like we'll
Mhm.
probably see him up there as much as Professor X and Magneto. But as far as things to do, like, Cyclops will probably be doing the most.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if they kill him or I mean, again, like all the X Men are kind of iffy because they're gonna recast them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he dies in this one or maybe he makes it to Secret Wars and then he dies in that. But I don't think any of the X Men are making it out alive or gonna be in the new universe or anything. They're just gonna recast everyone. This one is a very interesting one. This next character, Loki. So in the trailer, we see that he's no longer on his throne, or at least there is a version of Loki not on his throne. We don't know if it's a variant. He has like a TVA card. So
hmm
what do you think like Loki's going to do in this movie? Do you think it's a variant? Do you think it's the one that we've been seeing from the Loki series? Like what are your thoughts on him?
I think he's honestly gonna have a lot to do. I think, we see him with this TVA card. He'll be in like where we saw him last with the trees and everything and just like watching everything from above. Um, I think he is the main connective tissue to bringing Steve in, and like when they did the teaser trailers and everything, like slowly announcing like, this character will return, so on and so forth, and we see Steve at home just like hanging out. He's got a kid, and somebody's like coming up the steps. I could see that being Loki. Like I think he will personally bring him into this conflict, and in the trailer, like you already kind of see Loki with this surrounding,
Hmm.
kind of resembling a house. um but I think Loki is going to be the multiversal anchor, because I mean he's already physically sustaining the branching timelines. um but I think Loki is not gonna die, but because I already pulled that card. But
Hmm.
I think he'll probably be imprisoned by Doom or something. Like Doom somehow catches wind of like, this anchor being essentially like, maintaining the timelines, and Doom's gonna nap him. So that goes bye bye.
Yeah, I think he'll have a pretty big role to play in this one and in Secret Wars. So I don't think he's dying. And yeah, I agree with you. I've seen the theories that yeah, he's like in Steve's house in that one shot in the trailer. So that would be interesting, seeing as how the last thing that Steve Rogers is remembering is that he's this villain, but to the audience, he's gone through this whole thing. So the interactions will be interesting. Next character is Shang-Chi. I don't think Shang-Chi is going to have, unfortunately, a ton to do. I think he's going to survive and be in Secret Wars, but I don't see him being one of the big hitters in this one.
I disagree with you.
Oh, okay.
I think Shang-Chi is gonna be up there with like Thor and the Fantastic Four
Oh,
with things to do. Um, I think the Ten Rings are gonna have a role. I think because they kind of alluded to it at the end of Shang-Chi in that post-credit scene. Like, they're trying
right.
to identify what this technology is and like what it does. I think he can potentially be the heavy hitter when other people can't be. Like we see Thor kind of get blocked by Doom's magic. And like granted we don't really know like what Shang-Chi's rings and stuff do, but like I think um rather than him like becoming the overall strongest character, like it's really going to be the 10 rings and like how he interacts with those. Um but I think I have a pretty strong lean that he'll do a significant amount.
Okay. I mean, I'd love it. I mean, I really liked the Shang-Chi movie. I don't know why we haven't gotten a sequel yet, or they still haven't even announced one for past Secret Wars. So, but I really enjoyed that movie. I like Simu Liu. I think that the Ten Rings, like the whole martial arts thing, is really cool. So yeah, I'd love it if he's in the movie a bunch. That'd be great. Um, Next up, we have Gambit. I think I chalk him into the rest of the X Men. He's just going to be in the X Mansion or something. He's just glorified cameo, basically. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean they'll probably lump some and just cameo blast, and like it's Channing Tatum, so like it's big wig playing a cool character. But yeah, I think they'll have kind of that big fight scene, but I think he'll have more to do than like Mystique and Nightcrawler and all the other ones, but not more than Cyclops or Xavier or Magneto.
Okay. Um, Then we have John Walker, who I think is going to be in the same boat with all of the Thunderbolts. Like, I think other than Yelena, all the rest of the Thunderbolts are going to kind of be on the same level of having something to do. And as I said, I think that he is dead.
He he's not doing anything. He has a taco for a shield. Like he can't block anything.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't anticipate he'll be doing too much. And I just like for the grand stage of what I'm picturing for Secret Wars, I just can't see John Walker like be, what I mean? Like it just doesn't seem like it's a kind of
He's
thing
gonna
that
break
he'll be
out the
doing.
shield and just like whack Doom's head like he did in the show.
Yeah, and that'll work somehow, I'm
Oh
sure.
yeah.
Next one is another group, just in total, the Fantastic Four. Obviously, I don't think any of them are dying. Like it's too early on and them being introduced. Obviously, um, Sue Storm and Reed Richards are going to be playing more of a role than I think Ben Grimm and Human Torch. But I'm anticipating because a lot of people are worried, saying that with Robert Downey Jr. playing Doom, he's gonna kind of be ignoring Reed Richards, and it's gonna be more of an RDJ kind of interacting with the old Avengers. I actually don't think that's the case. I think that him and Pedro Pascal are going to kind of go at it. I don't know what you think about it, but I think that it's going to be kind of like that. So I anticipate that at least Reed Richards is going to have the most to do out of the four. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, seeing some of the stuff that came out from Comic Con, like it seems like the Fantastic Four like already know Victor personally. Like Sue has this, like I don't know if you've seen the Comic Con like narration or anything,
I have it
but
now.
so within that, Sue is like describing Victor's like former personality and like his losses and like what's changed over time.
Hmm.
Um, and like, how he lost his wife and child and like, what, turned him to the side. But I think the Reed and Doom dynamic is going to be the movie's real like strategic rivalry because
Hmm.
like I think Reed and Doom, they're going to debate like how existence should be saved. And I mean, Doom lost the people that he cared about. Like we see this family oriented mural. Um, but like, Doom is probably coming from the thought that like the heroes caused or accelerated the collapse of the universe. Like in that Comic-Con narration, like Doom is talking about stolen lives, like how you've lived this for too long. It's time to give them back, and it's like he's. It sounds like an indictment on like timeline manipulation.
Right.
Um, but do you just have the four on your list? Do you have any other Fantastic Four characters on your list?
No, it just mentions them. I mean, if you're alluding to like Franklin, because I'm
Yeah.
assuming he's going to be in it, but they
So
don't have it on the list.
I think Franklin is going to be Doom's ultimate target, as we kind of saw from the post-credit scene in Fantastic Four. Because for those of if you've read the comics or anything, like Franklin has powers. And he
Oh boy,
really
does he!
he's like Jack from The Incredibles. No.
He's like
Um
God.
he Yeah, like he's really the mechanism to reshape reality, and it'll lead right into Secret Wars. So
Yeah. So yeah, I think that I don't know why they don't have him, the child actor who was playing him in that post credit scene. They don't have him mentioned, but yeah, definitely Franklin Richards is going to play some role, and yeah, I'm excited to see the interaction between. Obviously, he's a Fantastic Four villain, so they should be in the forefront of telling the Avengers all about him. Like they should have interacted with him at some point in the past. So, moving right along, we have Yelena. I think she's going to survive. I think that she will be in Secret Wars. I think that she will be kind of up there with the Ant-Man's and Sam Wilson type territory on things to do.
yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Uh,
I think it's gonna be um like that. She's gonna have her big fight with the X-Men, and then just kind of be monitoring in the background.
yeah. Speaking of those characters, next up is Sam Wilson, Captain America. I think he also survives, and he's going to be in Secret Wars. I don't see them really, and I'm kind of upset that we didn't have like a movie in between. I don't see them spending a ton of time on him having this whole debate with the new Avengers versus his Avengers thing, because people don't even know who's on his Avengers team. So I don't see the movie having a ton of time to be squabbling over all that. Um, so I think he's going to kind of jump right into the action. Unfortunately, I don't see him being the leader in any of this. Like, I think somebody like a Thor or Reed Richards is going to kind of take more of that role. So unfortunately, it's going to kind of seem like he's along for the ride. Um, he'll interact with Steve. And I do think Steve is going to have that line from the comics. Oh, I'm not Captain. I'm just Steve Rogers. He's Captain America, so that people can, you know, be like, oh, okay, he's acknowledged it. So, what do you think about Sam?
Yeah, I think you made a good point. Like Thor is probably going to be the leader of everybody, but I
Mm,
think after the Avengers X-Men battle, and once everybody is like united against, like they realize what Doom's doing and they need to be united. Like I could see Sam being like the Captain America of old and just giving this speech to like finally unite everybody and like realize they've got a common enemy. But yeah, like I'm curious to see how they handle the dynamic with Steve and like what they do for that.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, he has to interact with Steve at some point. That'll be
Yeah.
something for sure. Him and Bucky. All right, coming up to the last couple, but more bigger hitters now. So we got first up Ant-Man. I think that he'll have a decent amount to do. I don't think he's gonna die. I think if he's gonna die, he'd be dying in Secret Wars. I don't think he dies in this. But like I said, he's gonna kind of be on that same realm of like the Captain America, Sam Wilson, kind of being like the right hand man to Thor. I don't think he'll be doing the most, but he'll be doing more than some of these other characters that we've mentioned.
So I actually think there's a pretty decent shot that he does die. I think his story arc is going to be like doing whatever he can to protect Cassie.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if the Wasp is in this or not,
She's
but
not like it's not like
not confirmed or
confirmed,
anything.
but
So Cassie is confirmed.
yes, from the
Um,
trailer.
I could totally see it being a thing where like they want to start setting up the quote unquote young Avengers.
Hmm.
And I think Ant-Man could like I think Cassie being in it does kind of raise the possibility of Scott being this parental sacrifice. Um I would it's not like, certainty that it's going to happen, but I think it's more I give it like a less than 50% chance it happens, but it's possible.
Yeah, anything we really don't know what's going on in the movie yet, so yeah, anything is really possible. But yeah, I could see him dying as well.
Like I think
Um,
the only certainties that I would say like are going to die would be Xavier, Magneto, and the Red Guardian. But I would probably put Hitman right behind them. Like I think it's possible.
yeah, that's fair. All right, and then these last three are the big three. First, we're gonna go with Steve Rogers, who obviously is gonna get brought back into the fight. I find it interesting though because people have been debating back and forth if this is some evil version of Steve Rogers. I've been seeing Captain Hydra like it's a different variant of Steve because in the one that we get from that teaser one where it said Steve Rogers will return and he's with the baby, clean shaven, whatever, and then this one in this trailer has the beard kind of more looking like the Nomad. So I don't know if it's just like a time difference thing or what they got going on with that, but I think Steve Rogers is going to like kind of come in, help where he can, and then hopefully just return back to his timeline. I don't think he's trying to like stay there and like fuck around. He's just going to kind of be there in and out type of situation. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think Steve's life with Peggy is going to be part of Doom's case against the heroes. Like, I mean, Steve ultimately chose a life in a timeline where he didn't belong. Um, and like we see him summon Mjolnir to really kind of prove his identity to Thor.
Hmm.
I'm curious to see the dynamic with Peggy and Steve's child, with like what's going to happen with as the worlds collide and ultimately go into what we'll see in Secret Wars. Um, I think Steve is not going to die in Doomsday, but I think it's much more likely to have him survive into Secret Wars and
Hmm.
either and die or retire there. I hope retire because they already kind of gave him a happy ending and like he
Right.
hasn't really gotten to see it through. But yeah, I think I'm curious to see how they'll handle the return of Steve Rogers.
Yeah. Yeah. I also don't really subscribe to the fact that it's like an evil Steve Rogers we saw in the trailer because that'd be really weird. What with as you just mentioned him, um, being worthy of Thor's hammer. So yeah, I think that hopefully they don't kill him off because I'm already like pissed that he's in the movie at all. I'm assuming like from what I understand, the Russo brothers have said that this is literally a direct sequel to Endgame. So I'm assuming that you know they said they casted RDJ specifically to be Doom for a reason. So that'll be brought up probably with Iron Man snapping, and then with Steve Rogers going back, as you mentioned, to that time. I think it'll all kind of, maybe it created an incursion, whatever, when Loki comes to explain what the fuck's going on. So yeah, I hope that they don't kill him off. Like, it would be nice for him to just find like another universe to just settle down with. And the parallel between him and Tony from Endgame is pretty interesting because now he's the one that has a life outside of superhero-dom, and like kind of has something to go back and protect. Whereas
Mhm.
like he didn't understand so much when Iron Man was saying, I kind of don't want to join you guys for your time heist type of thing. So that'll be interesting. All right. So last two here. First up, we got Thor. I think out of all the characters in this movie, he is the most nailed on to die. It's
Really?
set up. I think that from his teaser trailer of praying to Odin, like, I'm asking for your strength for one last battle. Now I have this daughter to protect. Now I think that just all the things that he's saying is just, I think he's dead. Like, I think like if they don't kill anybody else off, I think he dies by the end of this to really phone in the fact that like this is a situation that can kill our big names. So I think he's dead.
I don't think he's dead in this one, but I could
Okay.
see him. I could see him dying in Secret Wars because if my theory is correct with Loki being imprisoned, uh, I think the story needs him alive to rescue Loki during Secret Wars because as we've seen through not only the Thor movies but also Infinity War and all of that, like Thor has always seen Loki die.
Mm.
Whether he thinks he's dead at the beginning of Thor with the Rainbow Bridge, and then we see him actually die in the Dark World until wait, he's alive, and then 100% die in Infinity War. Um, uh, I think it would be an interesting dynamic to see that flipped. Like Thor saves Loki from this prison or whatever, even though it's not like his Loki, like it's from the other universe or things. But again, like they're still brothers and they've come a long way.
Hmm.
I think they could flip that dynamic. Um, I think it's more likely with Secret Wars than this one. But
Okay. So obviously we agree that like Thor is going to be, out of all the Avengers, probably the one that's like the most to do. Like
oh,
he's going to
one
be
hundred
like, yeah,
percent. Like I think he's gonna be the primary like field leader. Like he's like we're gonna find the Fantastic Four. Like he'll recruit them in. He's gonna address both the Avengers and the new Avengers. Like we already kind of see him confront Doom. Um, yeah, I think he's probably gonna have the most to do of anybody.
yeah. Um, and last but not least, Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. Obviously, he's not dying in this movie. But what are your predictions for maybe what his plan is, or what he's trying to do in this movie?
Yeah, the last 30 seconds of the movie, he's gonna look straight into the camera, hold up his arm, and say, "I hate you 3000," and snap his fingers. Cut to black. That's the end of the
Perfect.
movie. Um, no, I mean, I think my main lock and prediction for this movie is Doom's gonna win. Um, this
Yeah.
is the Infinity War half of this duology between this and Secret Wars. Um, because obviously, the central crisis is this 3 universe incursion. And ultimately, Secret Wars is going to lead into Battle World. I think, I just said Doom's going to win. Like, I think the Fantastic Four universe is gone.
Hmm.
The X-Men universe is gone. The main universe is going to follow, and he's going to combine 3 fragments of the 3 realities instead of really saving individual one. And again, like where I think Loki is going to be imprisoned, like he's going to be this connective tissue holding the fragments together,
Right.
while Franklin Richards is going to have this reality altering energy. But Doom's technology is really going to determine which locations and populations survive. And we'll probably see, like, my theory is like the last couple scenes in Doomsday, like we're going to see this battle world where it takes, bits and pieces of Latveria, Wakanda, New York, the mansion, the new Avengers Tower, the Baxter Building, like all these like recognizable legacy locations. And we're gonna see Doom sit on this throne as he has Sentinels patrolling his new reality, and it's gonna, show Battle World and cut to black, and we gotta wait a year. So
Yeah, I think the same thing. Like they've already said that it's parallel to Infinity War and Endgame, so this is not going to end with the heroes being happy. I think sacrifices are going to be made. People are going to die. Probably not to the obviously not to the scale of well, I mean, if incursions are happening, maybe even more of a scale than what happened in Infinity War with just half the universe. It'll be three universes kind of getting imploded, so it could be even more bloodbath. But yeah, I agree. He's going to end up winning. Going to be proven right. I think that this movie is going to be 3 hours. They already said, I think like, yeah, because when I bought the tickets, it says like 2 hours, 45 or something. I think that first hour is going to be kind of more introducing Doom. I think we're going to see kind of Latveria. They already started showing like these Latverian witches and stuff like that. I think like all of his whole situation he has going on with magic and his whole backstory is going to be explored within that like first hour, for us to really it's going to be like how they did with Thanos. It's like this is going to be Doom's movie, and the heroes are kind of more of the antagonist to Doom. And that's how I anticipate it being. I think Robert Downey Jr. is going to have the most screen time out of anyone, and it's going to be kind of more focused around him, which I'm completely fine with. Um, Last theory before we wrap up here. Um, what do you think the whole situation is? Why they chose Robert Downey Jr.? What do you think the connection is with him and Stark?
I don't think there is one.
Oh, so you think they just like lied and said, "Oh, there's like a, oh, we casted him for a reason. It has to do right after the snap." You think that they just said that
It
for bullshits and
it would be
giggles?
nice to
Uh-huh.
see like some sort of connection. Um, but they've said time and time again, like it's RDJ is playing Victor Von Doom, not Tony Stark, who's a
Right.
variant, not any of that. Like if they made the Doom armor, like they had a run where Doctor Doom plays the role of Iron Man. Like if they made his suit like an Iron Man suit, but it was Doctor Doomified, like then I'd be like, okay, cool. Um, I, honestly, I could totally see there may be some story reason, and like I'm curious to see. I know they're doing the re-release of Endgame in a couple months, and supposedly they're adding content, which having Doomsday be a direct sequel to Endgame, like 6, 7 years
Hmm.
after come out, like I don't know how I feel about the idea of adding content after the fact. So supposedly there's gonna be some tie-in, but I could totally just see it being, hey, uh, we knew we were bringing Chris Evans back. Let's bring RDJ back as the villain, because we all know RDJ like now loves the attention and things. Like it's a good change of pace for him to play a villain.
Hmm.
I I just don't see a connection to Tony yet. Like I don't know what that could be.
Yeah. I think that there's going to be at least a scene where he unmasks himself and everybody's like, Tony, and then it's going to be a whole like thing, and he's going to be like, who's Tony? Type of situation. Um, I mean, I'm putting myself with low expectations for this movie. So I personally am in the thought process that this movie has so much it has to do and explain and tie together that I don't think I'm going to be satisfied with whatever. Like, like they would have to like have like this amazing written like retcon, and I'd be like, oh, that makes a lot of sense in the context of this or whatever. But I feel like it's gonna either, like you said, it's not gonna even be brought up, which is people are gonna be mad about, or they're gonna kind of like use it as like a throwaway thing or whatever, and that's also gonna upset people. So they kind of have this unenviable task because they had to basically change their whole plans from Kang, and now I'm curious how much of the Kang stuff that they were going to use in the Kang Dynasty just got kind of copied over here because they kind of had to reshape everything. So, but yeah, I think that he'll be the quote unquote main character of the movie and have his scuffles with each of the heroes and be debating the different people. And so it'll be interesting. I think just based off of the voice alone, like you wouldn't even know it was Robert Downey Jr. if they didn't tell you it was. So I think he's already putting on a really good voice.
Yeah, like the voice and mannerisms and stuff is what makes me think there's no
No
direct
Tony.
connection to Tony. Yeah, like I
Mm-hmm.
don't I don't know where it could fit. Like if they find a way and handle it well, great.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't know where that's at yet.
Yeah. All right. Last thing before we wrap up, they have said that like all these people that have been announced, there's more people. So do you have any like say top 3, top 5 characters you think that haven't been announced or haven't been talked about that you think are gonna be in the movie?
That's a good question. There's two characters really coming to mind who I think I don't want to say are guaranteed to be in the movie. Um, well, I guess technically three. I think the most likely is Doctor Strange and Clea.
Yeah.
My theory is that's going to be the post-credit scene. Like once we see Battle World assembled into Secret Wars, the post-credit scene is going to be Doctor Strange and Clea standing in this void where the multiverse once was, and they're going to diagnose the problem, and then that'll be the connective tissue into Secret Wars. So I would say those two. Um, the third one, who I think he probably has like a 50-50 shot at popping up. Mobius. I could totally
Oh, okay.
see him popping up during like Loki and Steve's like recruitment sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Like he may pop up at Mobius and be like, "Hey, I need your help with something," and they show up at Steve's house. I think it's possible. I think it'd be a small role for him. But it'd be good to see him on the big screen. Um, I don't think we see B-15. I
No.
don't think I like. If anything, we might see the TVA like losing control of the timelines.
Yeah.
I don't think we see Wanda. But I've read a couple theories about how
Or she's
Do-
gonna be a Latvian witch or something.
yeah, Doom has these witches or anything. I don't think we see her. I don't think we see Captain Marvel. I don't think we see Ms. Marvel. And then all like the heavy hitters and stuff. Like I think we'll see the majority of them saved for Secret Wars.
Okay.
Deadpool, I don't think we'll see in Doomsday. Wolverine, I don't think we'll see in Doomsday. I don't think we'll see any of the Spider-Men in Doomsday.
Okay.
Um, I don't think we'll see Hulk. But I'm curious, like as you kind of mentioned, like we want to see Spider-Man like incapacitated if he's not going to be in Doomsday. I kind of want to see the same thing with Hulk. Like
Yeah, it has to be.
I don't think Hulk is going to be in Doomsday, but if he's going to be in Secret Wars, how does that work? Um, and then Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye will pop up in Secret Wars. I don't think he's going to be in this one. I just don't know how they'd make
Which Hawkeye?
Clint Barton.
Okay.
I think he honestly I don't know where what's her name?
Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah.
Kate
Bishop.
Bishop.
Kate Bishop.
Kate
Yeah.
Bishop. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't think we see her at all in any of
Yeah.
this. But I think just for Avengers consistency, like I think we'll see Clint in Secret Wars.
Okay.
But I think we've kind of there could be some other people that I'm forgetting that may pop up, but um I think when it comes to the main cast core characters, like they've already announced them. But we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I have some similar layover, but I'm going to mention somebody that you didn't mention. I also agree Doctor Strange should be in it just based off of in his last movie. Clea kind of took him and said, "You caused incursions. You're coming with me to help fix them." Kind of, falls right into what's going on with this. He's already worked with the Avengers before. I'm worried that in this movie, because of the scale of everything, it is going to be weird because I don't think Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel are going to be in it. But I think Photon will be in it just based off of the Marvel's post-credit scene. She's going to be probably seen at the Avengers. I mean, at the X Mansion.
Yeah.
So I don't
didn't think
know if
about
she's
that.
going to be seen at the X Mansion and then try and let me hitch a ride back with with you guys or something. So I think she'll be in it. But they're gonna have to explain why some of these people, like how we both just said, they need to explain why Hulk and Spider-Man aren't going to be in it. If they're not, maybe they are. But if they're not, like, why isn't Captain Marvel helping? Like, she can't be like fucking off saying, "Oh, I have all these other planets." No, no, no. We don't. That's not going to work anymore. Like, you
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
the
like everybody
universe,
kind of
not the
yeah.
planets.
Yeah, if it doesn't matter anymore. If these incursions happen, everybody's dead. Like you
Yeah,
can't be. So they're gonna have to find a way to, explain why certain people within our 616 timeline are not there. So hopefully they do well. And the third person I wanted to say I think will be in it, just based on her power set, is America Chavez. Because last we saw of her, she's in Karmartaj, like training with Wong and all the other sorcerers. So I think it would be interesting, like maybe Wong and her like show up and she just joins in because it's just easier for them to hop from universe to universe. Maybe by now she's learned to control her powers. So I think it'd be interesting to see her since they already set her up for being this like universe jumping person. That's
yeah,
perfect for this movie. So those are the three I'm thinking are in it that haven't been announced for like
yeah. No,
surprise purposes.
that's a good pull.
All right. I mean, we've talked at length about these, trailers and predictions. So we will revisit this in December when the movie comes out. See what we were right about, what we were wrong about. But yeah, you have anything else you wanted to say before we sign off?
No, I'm all good.
All right. Well, then we will catch you all in the next one, which will be our Spider-Man review. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. And if not, we'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, everybody.